Hello, am I audible?
Good morning, Kaustub. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess we'll wait for another 2 to 3 minutes and so that the remaining participants join, and then we can start with the presentation, with the workshop.
Hello.
Hello, Kaustub. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, Vinu. I can hear you.
All right. I've just sent some messages in the personal WhatsApp chat. Can you please check?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we can start with the workshop. Over to the anchor for today's workshop.
A very good morning to one and all. I, Yash Chaudhary, member of Sophisticated Perpetuals Coders Club of Computer Department, extends a warm welcome to all for 2 days of workshop on web scraping. It is a mark of our undying tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event. Like the great philosopher once said, the function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of one who prays. So I request to everyone kindly pay attention and raise our voice in unison towards our college anthem. I request Nirmit to play the universal prayer of peace.
Nirmit, I guess it's not audible. It is still not audible, Nirmit.
Thank you, everyone. We all please well indeed. Before we begin with the session, let me introduce you all to the today's speaker who is among us for the next 2 days on the event of web scraping, Mr. Kaustub Pandey. He is a backend developer and currently pursuing BTech in computer science and engineering with the prominent knowledge of MongoDB, Fast API, Python, web scraping, and C++. I welcome you, sir, for the event. Now, without wasting much time, I request Kaustub, sir, to start the workshop.
Hello everyone. So, as you all know, I am Kaustub Pandey, and we are all here to attend this workshop on web scraping. So, just let's get started with the workshop. Okay, so here we are. So in this 2-day workshop, you all would be learning what is web scraping, and then we will build a REST API using Python and Fast API. So the thing is, what you all going to learn is that just web scraping the data is not that useful. We have to present that data, and we will be presenting that data in a REST API using Python. So the web scraping would be using Python, and the building of the REST API would also be using Python, and we will be using a web framework Fast API to build the REST API. So I guess you all are clear with the basics of programming, and it would be very great if you all are clear with basics of Python. If not, then there's not a problem. I'll tell you everything. So let's get started. So firstly, let us see that what is web scraping. So whenever you see a website or a web app, you see that there's data on it. And if we see, we can use that data for our computation, for our benefit. But we can't just copy and paste that data. Like that manual labor work is not efficient. And we as a programmers, we always do something that we can automate, and we can build something that for normal human access and ease. So what web scraping does is it fetches all the data from a website or a web app, and then we programmers code to get the required data from it. What all we require, we can just parse the data. What parsing is, I'll tell you later. So we can parse the data, and then we can use all the information for our benefit and for our purposes, or for the user benefit and user purpose. So what web scraping is, it is an automatic method to obtain large amount of data from websites. And this information is collected and then exported in a format that is more useful for the user. So in this workshop, what format we will be using that data is, we will build a API to access that data. And also, we can use web scraping to get the data in CSV format for like ML and AI model to train all that thing. And all that data comes from web scraping different sites and different web apps. Now the second thing is, there is a very big misconception that web scraping is illegal or legal. So I tell you that web scraping is totally legal, and it is very much legal. And the thing is, when the misconception occurred, so people started thinking that taking others' data for our use is not ethical. But then everyone decided that if the data is publicly visible, then it is legal to web scrape. And if the data is not publicly visible, then it is not illegal, but it's unethical to use that data, because the particular user don't want to show data publicly, and you as a programmer or web scraper can't show that data. So about the is web scraping legal? Yeah, web scraping is totally legal. Just you have to keep in mind that you need to be present, or you need to do the web scraping behind the ethical line. You should not intervene anyone's privacy or anything. If a person or a user or a website wants to show that data publicly, then obviously you can copy paste it. So we are just automating the process of taking the data from them, and we are using that data. So the particular website, if it has post the data publicly, then there's no problem in web scraping that data. The next thing is why Python is a popular language for web scraping. There are other languages in programming, but the most popular language for web scraping is always Python. So why? So firstly, the thing is Python is interpreted language. Then we can see that Python has many features for web scraping. Like it has many handful libraries for web scraping, like Scrapy and Beautiful Soup. And in this workshop, we would be using Beautiful Soup for web scraping. Then we can develop backend at Python very easily and very efficiently. And so we can use that web scrape data directly into our APIs and all. So that's why Python is a very popular language for web scraping. So that's what's written here, that it can handle processes easily. It has variety of libraries and web frameworks to web scrape the data and use it very comfortably. So we as a programmers, we always seek for better things, and that's what Python provides us while web scraping. Then we have a Beautiful Soup library and we have a Scrapy library. So the Beautiful Soup library we will be using in this. So what we will be doing in the session is we will be fetching HTML data from a website. Then we would be parsing that data and then extracting valuable information that we need from that site, right? Or from that data. Because raw HTML code, no one can understand, no one can get data or get something valuable from raw HTML. But we would be fetching that raw HTML, we would be processing that raw HTML, and then we would be extracting those data that we require or we want. So the last point, that Beautiful Soup has multiple features for navigation, searching, and modifying these parsed tree. So when we will get the raw data from the website, we would use Beautiful Soup parsing technique to make that data in form of a tree. And then we can easily parse, or we can traverse through that tree to the information that we required, and we can get that information. So Beautiful Soup has many features and functions to do these things very easily. Then the applications of web scraping. So now why web scraping? What is the need of web scraping and how web scraping is useful? We'll discuss it. So firstly, the thing is the price monitoring. So, different organizations and different organization and different people, they require to know different, compare their strategies on what their product should be, what price their product should be, what their competitors are doing. All this data can be easily taken through web scraping, and then it can be processed. Then market research. So, different traders, then different even organizations, they want to know what is the flow of the market. And this flow of the market can easily be, decided by taking data from different websites, their competitors, the websites of their competitors. Now, manually doing it is obviously not a good thing, or is not, perfect. So what they do is they web scrape the data, and then they use that data for the market research and other purposes. Then news monitoring. So, as a student, or you might be working on different projects, different websites. You will come across different websites that show headlines in section. It might not be any in context with their website or their product, but it looks very user friendly and very handy to show news on your website. Now, as a student or as a developer, you don't have that access to world for you can make your own news, and you can edit your own news. So you can web scrape news and descriptions from different websites, and then you can show that on your website. And that's what we would be doing in this session today, that we would be web scraping a news site. We would be taking the headlines from the websites, and we would get that data to our local storage, and then how we want to use, we can decide it, right? Then the sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis is whenever a company or a organization launches its product, it wants to know that how consumers are reacting to that product. Now, if I give you an example that I, as a merchant, launched a product on Amazon or Flipkart and every other e-commerce store. Now, I want to know that how what are the reviews of my customer, and I want to just process that data. But going to every e-commerce store, then looking at my product, looking at what customers are reviewing is tedious task. So what I can do is I can just make a script. I can web scrape the data of my product, what consumers are rating it, and then I can just apply that script to every other e-commerce store, and I can get that data in one go, rather than going to every e-commerce store and looking for that data. Then email marketing. So in marketing world, this is a very prominent technique to send emailers to target audience. Now we know what our target audience is as a product manager, but we don't know how to get their emails and all that. So this web scraping can be very useful in getting emails and all that from LinkedIn, from all different platforms like Naukri.com and all that. So we can get emails of the target customer from theirs using web scraping, and then we can send emailers to them promoting our product. So that would increase the companies and organizations' view in the market. So we have discussed what web scraping is, then what is application of web scraping and other things. So we all are here to just learn how web scrape. So let's just get into it. I'll just show you. So right now, for this first task, we would be scraping a news site. This we will be doing in Google Colab. Now I'll just give you a very short description of Google Colab and what it does. Just let me set the Colab for you. So you can see, I guess, yeah, you can see this one. Yeah. So this is Google Colab, right? And I have different notebooks in it, but I'll just give you a view. So Google Collaborate, welcome to Collaborate. It is written here. So what Google Colab is, it's basically for a very good environment for Python programmers. So what Google did is, as a student and as a developer, we don't have. It's not journal to have a high-end laptop that we can work with. And Python as a language is used to train ML models, machine learning models, and to artificial intelligence stuff. And that requires a large RAM and GPU for processing those models and feeding data to their models. What Google Colab does is it provides us virtual RAM and virtual GPU for our models to train. So what is the working of this Google Colab is it inputs our code from it takes input of code from us, then it runs the code in its server, not on our local storage. That if we are using VS Code and other ID, then the data is getting and processed on our local PC itself. But what Google Colab does is it processes the data in Google server and then gives us the output. So we don't need to have high-end laptop or anything else for training machine learning models and all that. And it is a very good environment for Python. Why I'm saying is because most of the libraries are already installed in Google Colab. So I'll just make a new notebook and then we'll start script. Yeah, so here it is. This is known as code block, and then I can also add a text block, to write something about that code. Okay. This is the text block, and this is the code block. So now let's see that what we are gonna do. Okay. Yeah, so you all would be familiar with InShorts. It is a online news providing website, and what it does is it gives us the headlines and all that. So why I came to InShort is because there are other websites like Aaj and ABP News, but they are more focused on their telecommunication television channels. So the best news that I get online is InShort. Uh, it is very handy, see its UI and everything. It's very handy. So that's why I wanted to show you that how to web scrape these type of sites. So I'll just go for India. I'll fetch Indian news. So here are Indian news, right? You can see they are in form of cards. You can see these cards, right? So what is the approach of web scraping is that whenever I see a data on website, I first try to find that what data I want from that website. So right now, if I see that I can, InShort has already sorted me the headlines, right? It has already shown me the what are the headlines. So they are coming up, right? So what I need is I need this image. If I want to show this data on my website, what would I need? I need this image. Then I need this title, and then I need this description, right? So uh, what I can do is I can see that each and every card is of same format, and that's what we have to look while web scraping. We can't, just copy paste data and all that, or I can just make a script for this card, then this card, then this card. When I can see that these all cards have same format, so what I can do is I can make a generalized script to fetch any card, and then I can feed this link to that script, and then we would be getting the information from these cards. So let's just get into it. I'll just show you what is the structure of this site. So I'll just inspect. So if you can see that in the site, in the body, I guess you all, if you have any problem, you can write in chat. Uh, yes, we all know basic HTML, what HTML is and all that. So these are the cards you can see, right? Oh, my bad, my bad. Yeah, I guess now you can see. So this was our homepage, and this is the site. I'll just repeat everything. So this is the site that we are looking to. These are the headlines today, right, from India. So what we would be doing is, if I want to show this data on my website, I want these cards or data from these cards, and you can see that these cards are looking very similar, like they have similar structure. So as a web scraping, I can see that I should make a very generalized script to access these cards, and then I can get the data like image, then title, and then description, and then that's all I need to show what are the headlines, right? So let's just look into the structure of these cards, because what web scraping does is it parses the HTML data from that website. So this is the HTML of this website, right? Now what I want is I want to access these cards. So if I just hover here, I can see that which element I'm hovering on, right? So here in this div, all the cards are there. So I know that I want to go in this div. Then I can see this. There is a division over this division. So yeah, I have to go into it. Then I can see that there's another division, and then I can see that this. You can see that there's a list of divisions, and that's what I want, right? These divisions actually are the cards. And if I go into one of these divisions, then I can see that this news division class news card Z depth 1. This is the card that I can look for, because this has all the data. If I show you, yeah. So this card is basically referring to this image plus this title and the description. So I can go with it, right? Like here's the image, news card title, then news card content. I need these news card title. Here I can get the title. Then I have news card content. That is the description of the right. I can get these. And the image, I can get this news card image, right? So I'll just show you how to code all this. So first we need to import some libraries in Python. What type of libraries I need? I just told you that we need Beautiful Soup for parsing the data. But what data should we feed to Beautiful Soup? So Beautiful Soup basically takes raw HTML. But how can I get the raw HTML from this particular site? So in Python, we have a library known as requests. What it does is request it posts a get or a post request to the site, and then the site replies with the raw HTML. If we get the site, then it replies with raw HTML. If we are our request type is post, then we would be sending some data to the website, and in response, website will give us some data. But here in this case, we only need the HTML data from the website. So we will be using get request. So just first we will import requests. And another thing that I want to import is Beautiful Soup, right? So I will be importing Beautiful Soup. And this Beautiful Soup is part of BS4 library in Python. So what I will write is from BS4, I want to import Beautiful Soup, right? So if I run this, then it's allocating me. Here you can see it's telling allocating connecting. It's allocating me Google servers RAM and GPU, and now it's connecting. Now it will fetch this code in their server, and then it will provide me with response. So if I have imported these two libraries, then it would send the data from these two libraries to my local storage. So you can see that am using this much of RAM and this much of disk space in Google server. And if it's green right tick here, then uh, it means that the code is run properly. Now, uh, what I want from these two libraries to get the data from here, from this side, right? So get the HTML data from this side. So what I will do is I want to get HTML, right? So I would make a variable HTML, and then what I told you is you would be posting a GET request on that particular site, and the site will respond with me with the HTML data, right? So I would be writing requests dot get. So requests is the library, and I want to use get function from it. And here it is showing me that what is the structure of get. So it takes the URL, it takes the parameters, but right now we don't have any parameters. We just want the URL. So I would just copy this URL from here, and I would paste this here, right? So from here, I'll get the HTML data. Now, if I want to see that how my data looks, so what I can do is I can write HTML dot text. Show me the text. What is the text that I am getting from this HTML? So I'll just run this, and you can see here the doc type HTML, lang, head, meta tags, and all that is here. If I expand it, so you can see that whole HTML of the site has come to me. The thing is, we can't use these data, right? How would we use these data? So that's where our job comes, and we have to parse the data. So the scraping part is like this is the data that we are getting. Now we have to scrape and parse the data from this particular data, that is HTML.text, right? So what I'll do is I'll initialize a object of Beautiful Soup class. So BH4 is the library, and Beautiful Soup is a class of that library. So I will just initialize this soup named object, and it takes like, see here it is showing me, it takes markup string, bytes, supported read string, and all that, right? And then it takes a builder here, tree builder, right? So that two things I have to give to this soup, right? So what I will be giving in this, I will be giving him this HTML, right? HTML.text as the string or the data that I want to use. And then for building the tree, as I told you that this data is very raw to process. So a Beautiful Soup will, what it will do is it will build a tree out of this data, and then we can parse that or traverse that tree to find the data that we need, right? So now I want to give it a tree builder. So here I will be giving it HTML.parser. So what I have done here is I have initialized a variable or an object of Beautiful Soup class, and it takes two arguments. First, the text that you want to parse, and another the tree builder. So here I needed to parse this HTML, right? So I have used HTML.parser. So this is a tree builder, and what it will do is it will build a tree out of this HTML.text. Now the variable is initialized. Now I want to see that what's in the variable. So what I will do is I will write soup.prettify. What prettify does is this data that I showed you is just line by line, and you can't see much about the data, that what data are we getting. So I'll just say Beautiful Soup to prettify this, right? Just make data more user friendly. You can see that now the data is a bit very much friendly to me. I can see where are div tags, I can see where are anchor tags, I can see where buttons are there, and let's just compare this data with this data. So this data was like line by line, and everything was very messy, right? I can't see where the tag has started, where it has ended, where JavaScript has ended, where CSS has ended, nothing. But just when I told the Beautiful Soup to prettify me with this data, you can see that how much user friendly it has made the data. but still this data is not what we need. This data is still not what we need. It has too much other data and other text that is not of our use, right? So what we'll do here is, now we will pass the data. So as I told you that I want these cards, right? I want these cards, and these cards are in a div. That's class name is news card z depth 1. So what I'll do here is, I'll just go here and I'll write that I want to access those cards, right? So I'll write cards. Then I have initialized a variable. I'll write cards, and then I'll tell beautiful soup to find me those divisions that I want, right? So soup dot, I will say find all. Find all. So this is a function of beautiful soup which will find me. So it says name, strainable, and then attributes, right? So the name of the strainable or the tag that you want. So I want a div tag, right? So I'll write find all div. But I don't want every div in this HTML. I want only those div that contains this all data, that is this card. So these, how can I identify this div in whole site, right? So that is with its class name, and its class is news card z depth 1. So I'll copy this, and what I'll say beautiful soup to do is that find all div whose class is this news card z depth. Now you will see that why I have written class like this, class and then underscore. So you all know, you might not know that class is already a defined keyword in Python. So while parsing HTML, I can't directly use class. So the beautiful soup, what its documentation tells us is that you should put a underscore after class, so that it can differentiate between it's a class for HTML tag or it's a class of Python. So right now I wanted this HTML, so I have written an underscore right here. But if you would be taking any other attributes like content or item prop or item type, then you don't need not to write that underscore, because these are not defined keywords in Python. But class is a defined keyword in Python, so to differentiate it from that, we use this underscore here. Now I'll just run this. So basically what it will do is, it will get me all the cards from this website, right? So I'll just rerun everything. Yeah, it's connected now. So you will see a right tick here, right? Okay. Let me just close these. So I've showed you that this data was very much handy, and I can literally see that what to focus on is these cards. So these cards. Now let's just print the type of this card. What is the type of the card? This cards variable, right? So I'll just run this, and it says BS4 element result set. And if I have done here just find, okay, I'll show you the difference. If I have done here just find, then what it might be doing is this BS4 element tag. Now what's the difference? When I have written all, then it is showing me BS4 element set, result set, right? And when I just wrote find, it shows me a tag, BS4 element tag. What's the difference? So when I have written find, so it will parse the tree, the soup, the soup is like a parcel, right? It is traveling in the uh, it is traveling in the HTML data, and then what it is doing is it is finding with a div with class newscard z depth one. So when I have written find, as soon as it will encounter a division or a div with newscard z depth one class, it will return me. So it will only return first element that it got, right? But when I wrote find all here, then it will parse whole HTML and it will give me all the cards, all the divisions that have class news card z depth one. So that's what's the difference. So this set is actually a list of divisions, and that tag was only one division. So that is the difference between find and find all. If you want, just first news out of it, then you can go with find. And if you want all news, then you can go with find all. So why not I just print these cards, right, to show you what it is. So you might be wondering, if you know Python, that you might be wondering, I just wrote cards here and it is printing it. I didn't wrote print cards. So that's where I told you that collab is very handy. So I don't need to write print statement. If I write direct variable name, then it will show me the variable, what data it has, right? So now if I show you that this is the data that I got. So yeah, so now I got the cards, right? I got the all the cards from this, but still, the cards are in form of HTML, and I can't, just use this data as a web scraper. I can't use this data for processing it. So I got the cards, right? You can see that here it is written. Commenting on India buying oil from Russia amid wars in Ukraine, Union Minister. And if I just go here, if I just go in the site, that I can see that there are so many cards, right? And here one news might be the Russian and that thing, that news. Yeah. So where I was telling you that I got the data of these cards, right? All the cards. If I was doing just fine, if I was doing just fine, then I would be getting only this card, right? The first card it encountered. But when I did find all, then it gave me all the cards and data of all the cards. But still, it's in format of HTML, and I can't use HTML, just to uh, basically to process the data. So what I'll do is, now I want to process in this card. So you know that this card is a list of elements. Okay, and in Python, how we access list is we use for loop. So I'll write for card in cards. What it means is I'll accessing one element from all the cards, right? I am accessing single card from all the cards, right? So now I have to process in a single card. So I'll just randomly take one card from here. Let's just take the first card. So this is the first card, right? News content Z1. Uh, Here it was, and then you know this is the card. News content Z1. This is the first card, and then I want to basically parse in this. So I need title. I need images, right? So where I can get the title? Just let's see. First, let's go. Yeah. So here I can see that when I'm hovering over this element, then you can see that here a blue hover comes. Okay. So here is the title, right? News card, title, news, right box. But in this, I have an anchor tag, and in this anchor tag, if I show you, here it is. Here's the data that I need, right? Here's the data that I need. CNG pipe cooking gas prices hike by 3 rupees in Delhi. That's the title that I need. So it's in a span, right? It's in a span, and the span. How would I identify this span? Is item prop is headline, right? This is the difference, right? So what I can do here is I can tell the soup to parse again. Now what I'm doing is I am only telling soup to parse at the only one element of this card. I'm not telling it to parse over whole HTML. So when I write for card in cards, I want it to parse just over one card. So if I write title here, so I would have to write card dot find, and I know that I just need one of that span, and even it is present uniquely over there, but still I would use find, because when as soon as I encounter that headline, I want soup to return it to me. I don't want it to parse the whole card, because I know that there's only one span, right, that has item prop. So I wanted to find span, and then how it should identify that span is the item prop, right? Item prop should be headline, right? Here I'll show you. The item prop should be headline. That's what written here. That's what I told Soup to do, is get the title, and I'll just tell it to print this title. So now what this? So now you will say that first I didn't wrote print. Now I'm writing print. So I'll tell you the difference. Whenever a variable name is written at the end of the code block, then the collab automatically fetches that I want to print that. Basically, print that variable. But if it is written inside a loop or something, that it then collab don't know that what I want to do with that variable. So then I have to specify that what I want to do is I want to print this title. So now what this particular code block will do is it will go into the cards. So there are many cards, right? All these cards would be there, or all of these cards. So what it will do is it will go inside this card. Go inside this card, first card, it will find the title, it will print it. Then it will go to the second card, it will find the title, it will print it. And seemingly, when the for loop will end, then we can see that what result we get, right? So you can see that now I am getting that item prop headline, Punjab Government Regulatory Service, CNG pipe cooking gas hike by 3. That we got, right? So all these titles I have, right? So now you see this that item prop and all this. So I don't want this, right? I just want this. I don't want the span tag. So what I'll say this, that in the title, give me only text out of this title. I don't want any other thing, right? And I'll run this. Now you see that I am only getting titles, right? No problem with this. I'm just getting all the headline titles. So this we have done a like first step to our web scraping. This particular cards that we have got the titles of these. Now let's see that how I can get the content out of it, right? That is the description that was written. So I'll go with the same approach. I'll access every card, single for card in cards, right? What I'll do is I'll say description. Now this is the description of the headline. So description is card or find. Now what I need to find? I have to search for it, right? So I'll go here. I'll see that where I am getting this description. Wait, yeah. So where I am getting this description? It's here, article body, right? And if I just go, I have directly this data. So I want a div. That's item prop is article body, and I want the text output, right? So I'll tell Soup to do the same. I want a div right? And item prop should be, but it should be article body. Let's just copy this. As a programmer, we love copy pasting, so yeah, this I want this, right? And now I'll tell it to print description. Hmm. Right. And to just to differentiate each and every description, I'll print a new line character. What new line character does it will like just put a end one line space between every description. So let me just run it. Like see, I got the descriptions out of these, right? Again, I got that division item group, but I don't need it. So I'll write it dot text out of it. And just let's print this. So you can see that I am getting all the data, all the descriptions. Right here you can see that I'm getting each and every description out of the site. So yeah, we are good to go with description also. Now what I need is I need the image. Now this would be a bit tricky because I'll show you why I'm saying that this is a bit tricky, because here basically extracting the image is not tricky, but how you will extract the link out of it is just will tell you your knowledge about Python and all. So this is the div and its class is news card image. Now I want to get the link out of it. So the URL is this, right? But how can I get this URL, right? Because it's in style and everything is written background image, URL, and all this. I don't want all this. I just want the link out of it. So I have to extract the link out of this. I'll show you how. I'll just copy this class and I'll just come here. And then now again for image, right? For card in cards. Card in cards. What I want is image, right? I want image. So I'll tell soup. I'll not tell soup, obviously soup is the whole data. I'll tell card, right? Card to find. What it need to find is it need to find a div, right? We have seen it need to find a div. I'll tell it to find a div where where I find a div where class was news card image. Yeah, let's find it. Where class, right? I've told you that class you have to write it because if you write only class, then you can see it is coming with a blue highlight. That means it's a Python keyword. And so I want to find a div with a class news card image, right? Now I cannot write dot text here. Why? Because the image is not in the text of this. I'll show you what it will do. I'll just do this. So you can see that in this div there's no text, right? There's no text. There's class name and the style name, and in this style name the link is there. So if I print this, nothing, because there's no text. It's just parsed it and it tried to extract the text, but there was no text, so it printed nothing. And if I just print image, if I just print this tab, but there's no text, so if I just print this tab, so you can see that I'm getting this URL, right? But I just need this URL from it, nothing else. Like not this style, not this, all that. So now how I will do this? So you can see that of this tag, that is this image tag, this return, I showed you that find returns me BS for element tag. So out of this tag, there are two attributes. First is class and another attribute is style. So I want the style, right? So I will write print style, right? Now you can see that the data is more, more filtered, but still it's coming with background image and then URL and then dot and I mean this apostrophe mark, but I only need URL out of it. Yeah, right. So what I will do is now I will use Python to actually process this string. So what I will say is that I have, so this is a string, right? This is a whole string. I want to extract only the link out of this string. So what I'll do is I have to tell Python to print me only this part, right? From HTTPS till .jpg, and ignore every other part. So how I can do is I have to give the indexing of this, right? But you might know that these indexing are not fixed, right? Because it might change with different card. The indexing might change. The link, the size of the link might change. Here it is same, maybe, but it can be different. And we have to consider each and every corner case. So we would be defining a default start and end for our string that we need. So I would say that if you want to, just start it from HTTPS. Start the string from HTTPS and end it to .jpg. So how I will do is I'll put this image style in a variable, right? Because I have to, process this not image string but image and its styles string, right? So I'll just put it in image underscore style in this, right? And then I'll say that now I have to only you have to start from HTTPS. So I'll say that I have to get the index of this HTTPS. So I will say image style style dot index. Now what index I need is I need the index of HTTPS, right? So now what it will give me is it will give me the index of H, right? From where it has just started, right? Just behind the H. So if I print this, I'm sorry, if I print print start, so it will give me the starting index of link of every card. Okay, my bad. I'll just extend this. Yeah. See, it is giving me 23, 23, 20. So these cards were very much generalized. So we got same year, but this might not be the case with every time. So we have to be very precise and considering each and every corner case. That's why I used dot index and it find not manually gave it 23. I would have counted right 1, 2, 3, 4, 23 that it is starting on 23, but I prefer to use the corner case and let the Python decide what is the starting index of HTTPS, right? So now we have starting index. Now we need the ending index, right? So for ending index, I would write end is equals to now image style dot index. Now of which index I need to end. So I needed, I can show you here that I need to end this with .jpg, right? It should start with HTTPS and it should end with .jpg. Not this question mark, not anything. I want to end it with .jpg. So I just want it to end with dot jpg, right? So I write dot jpg and then I'll run it. Let's just print, and so it will give me the index of ending from where it's giving me 124. Now I have starting index, I have you know ending index, so I can just say that print me. So now I need the link, print me img or image style from where to where, from start to end, right? Then I will get my link. uh, Colon end. So I have specified here that from where it need to start and from where it need to end, right? You can see that I have some links, but these are not working. Why? Because you see that .jpg is missing. It says 404 error because you can't find it, right? Why? Because there's no .jpg, right? So where did jpg went? So when I wrote .index jpg, then what basically happened? It put it gave me the index of just element behind dot. So it only went till then. So I need to add jpg also. So I need to add dot j, p, and g. These four these four characters also to this thing. So I will write +4 because I want to end with dot jpg, right? So I have to include that also. And now if I press enter, now you will see that I got the link, and this I have an extension name as overzoom. So I'm just hovering on the links, and you can see that all the images I have from the site. So now what all we needed is title, is description, and is image, and all that we have. Now just what we need is to compile all this into a single code block, right? So just do that. I need a code block here, right? So if you see that all these have same format, that is for cards in card, for cards in cards, for card in card. So I'll just write for card in cards, and now I need to include each and everything. So I'll just include this title here. I'll include this description from here. And I'll include this image. So what was my final image is this, right? So I will write a result image. This is else img else this, and I would include this also. So in this. Yeah, so I will include all this from here, and I guess so. We have everything in this. This code block, we have everything, right? With title, description, and image from that site. Title, image, and description from this site, right? All that we needed, we have right now. But how to present this data, right, for the betterment of user? So that's what we discussed at the starting, that web scrapers scrape the data, that present it in user readable or maybe user friendly method. So if you have worked with Python or you have worked with any programming language, you know that there's a type in Python. There is a type of variable that is dictionary. So I would be presenting this data in form of a dictionary, and what I am gonna do is I want all these data, right? So first I'll get this data in a list, because this is many more than one data. So if I want to store it, I can store it in a list. So I'll just initialize a list here, that is result list, right? Result list here, empty list, nothing in it, and I will append it in. I will append the things in here. So now I need to append a dictionary type of value, and I can name it element, right? Or I can name it data. Data. I have the data, right? So I can say that data, it is a dictionary. Now, what is dictionary? Dictionary is a key value pair. You have to specify a key and the value for that key. So whenever a user is accessing that dictionary, it can access the dictionary by typing the key, and the dictionary will provide its with result. That's what we do, right? If you talk about a dictionary, English dictionary, then you find a word, like you have to find something, a word, maybe web scraping. Then you will just search for web scraping, and then you will get the description or the value what's written in the web scraping. That's what a general dictionary do, and that's what a Python dictionary does, right? So it has a key value there. So what would be my key? My first key would be the title of the news, right? So the title of the news would be what we have written is, it is stored in title variable. So value is title. Then what is the second thing is the description. So the description or the content, the description, and these are separated by comma, right? This is description. And the third thing that here is image. So I would write, and it's not just image, it's a URL of that image. So image URL, right? URL. This is what is our image URL is res image, right? Res image. Now I have this dictionary for every element, but I need to store this. So I would store this in result. So I'll say result dot append. What append does is it will add this particular dictionary to the list. So append data, and here my dictionary would be ready, right? So I would just print the result here, and as I told you that if the variable name is written at the end of the code block, then Colab will perceive that I want to print it, right? So I'll just enter. You can see here that what I'm getting is here title, every news. You know, each and every news is now and every news now is separated. So I have now you might say that this is not looking presentable. So I'll just this is a very much presentable data. I'll just show you how it's. So this is a list, right? Result is a list. How I can show you this data is for elements or anything, right? For news, this is a news data set. So for news in result, what I can say is print me the news. Print me the news. Like what I'm doing is I am printing each element once. Here it printed all the elements, right? But now I would print it once, and for your all sake and for presentable thing, I'll put two new line characters here so that the news might be differentiated. Now you can see that it's presentable, right? I have title, right? Varna, caste, a thing to pass should be discarded, RSS chief, and then I have description for it. Like let's see here, I have TSRTC starts new bus service from Hyderabad to Anigiri Hills. Then its description is the Telangana State Board and everything, right? New bus service from here arrives at is around 10 a.m. and each and every whole description of the news is here. And then if I go at the end, then I have the image, that is this TSRTC bus image that in short has, in the headline. So now I have all this data, right? So here our web scraping ended, right? This is how we web scrape a whole, in short, news website from, Python in Beautiful Soup. And the third library that we used was uh, request. So in here, if I just catch it all these up is I imported two libraries, that is request and Beautiful Soup. Then what I did is I forgot the HTML, whole HTML from this site that we were looking at. Then what I did was I initialized an object of Beautiful Soup class. So now, here I would explain you what an object and a class is. So a class is basically a wrapper, and object is its element. So a class is like, if I tell you class is like a wrapper over, it specifies different default things of a object, and when I feed data in it, then it becomes an object, because now this particular soup has stored HTML.text, that is text out of the HTML, and how it should be parsed. That's it in this data. So a Beautiful Soup was a wrapper to many objects, and this soup is a particular object, right? Then what we did is we accessed all the cards out of this site, right? All the cards, find all the cards were accessed from here. And how we access it? So we found a div whose class was here. Found a div. We found a div basically whose class was here. I'll show you. News card Z depth one. So what I look for is I look for a card from which I can get all the data, that is image, title, and description. So I got that element was this division whose class was news card Z depth one. So I told Soup to find me that, right? I told to Soup find me this card with all the cards with division news Z depth one. Why all the cards? Because I wanted each and every headlines to appear in my local stories, right? Or in my local, or where I am coding. I want all the news. So I wrote find all. If I only wanted first news, then I might have said find here, only find. And I showed you that, right? That it returns tag, and find all will return a result set, that is a list. Then I went into list, and I accessed title, I accessed description, and I accessed image of each and every card. And then I combined all that, stored it in a form of a dictionary. This is a form of a dictionary. It starts and ends with curly bracket, and it has a key and a value to that key and value to that key. And how you will say that how it is beneficial for users. So if user want only titles, right? I say if user want only, so it can tell me that I only want news title, right? It can tell Python only print title, and when I'll enter, you will see that only titles are printed, and all other description and images are not printed. So that's what I told you, that is a user accessible format, that is a dictionary, right? So that's what we were looking here. And then if it wants only description, then it can print description. And if it wants, or if the user wants every data, then it can print, just a dictionary. That I showed you that everything is printed here, right? So this was our first part of the scraping, right? That we scraped this data out of this site. But this was a static site. Now, what about a site like YouTube? So while talking about YouTube, the data from the YouTube, when we would be accessing data from the YouTube, the thing is, it would not be about the scraping. Here it was scraping part, right? Wherever I show you, what scraping part was. Yeah, so the scraping part in this was that I found a div with class, newsy depth one. Then I found in cards, I found the span that is headline. Then I found a div that is article body. Then I found a division whose class is news card see that. So these are all the scraping or partial scraping of the data. But when I'll show you the YouTube scraping, then there scraping would be very less. But what we learn there is parsing of the data. That is how to extract valuable data from a very large set of data. Because this was, if I show you as a initially, this was a short site, right? It has 20 to 25 newses that we scrape. But what is the benefit of this script is you can use this script, you can just uh, use this script in a website or somewhere where you can just include this script, and every time there would be a request on this site, then the latest headlines would be printed on that site. So that's how news and all are printed in generalized site. They don't get their news, they just web scrape news and print it on their side. So it's kind of that. But now let us just talk about, if I talk about YouTube scraping. So YouTube is a kind of you know YouTube is a kind of thing where scraping is not big, but the parsing of the data, because YouTube supplies you with a lot of data, and you have to search in it, and that's where parsing comes. So for the YouTube thing, what we can do is, I'll show you just a minute. Yeah. So I've shown you collab, right? How to use collab. Now I'll show you that how scraping can be done in your local storage. Just a minute, I'm setting up my VS Code for that. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, so I'll set. I'll just share my VS Code with you all. So this is my. You might be familiar with VS Code, right? So this is the user interface of VS Code. So now what we would be doing is we would be working with, you know, web scraping of YouTube, because that's what something, we all are interested in. This is scraping of this in short site was, yeah, very much useful in showing news to your website. But now let's just scrape YouTube, because I want you all to learn the parsing of the data, right? So that's what I want. So let's just so yeah, with when working with Python, that I want to tell you. When working with Python in your local storage, right? In your local storage, or I mean, I want to say in your local PC. First, what you all should, many Python programmers, they don't use this method, but I always advise to use this. Is create a virtual environment for your particular project. So every project should have its virtual environment. As well, working with Colab, we didn't needed a virtual environment because Colab is itself a virtual environment. So to make a virtual environment in Python, what we do is in the terminal, we run a command that is Python hyphen m venv, and then name of the venv. So I would be writing here virtual environment, same name. This is the command. Now it will, make a virtual environment for me. So why virtual environment is needed by working with Python is that whenever you are working with different libraries, those libraries should not hamper your working of other projects. But if you import each and every, or if you code each and every library without making a virtual environment, then all those libraries, all those data is stored in your local PC, right? And then while working on different projects, they might uh, collab to each other. But when you use a virtual environment, all those libraries, all those data are stored in a particular environment, which can't be accessed from outside of the environment and can be accessed only in the environment. And for that, you need to activate this environment. So it's just finalizing making the virtual environment. You can see the structure of virtual environment is include library and scripts. So just till this, happening, I want to show you. Uh, so I just wanted to show you the structure of YouTube. So I'm just setting that up. So in meanwhile, virtual environment is being created here. So I'll not disturb that. Yeah, so I'll just show you the structure of YouTube, and then we would code accordingly, right? Here, I have came to YouTube and I have searched for best DSA courses, right? So you can see here is right. These are all the courses that videos or playlists that I am getting. So all these are known as search results, right? So we for YouTube scraping, what we would be doing is we would be taking this this basically the link of the videos. That is, you would be scraping the search results. We would be scraping the title of this video. We would be scraping how much old the video is, and then we would be scraping what is the time length of the what is the uh, time length of the video, that how much a video is, because that's what we see, right? If you come here, then what you will see is what is video, then how old it is, and what is the time, how much long the video is. That's what we see. So that's what we will be scraping. So you will say that this is just we have done right while scraping this in short thing. But the difference is InShot was kind of a website and YouTube is kind of a web app. So when scraping InShot, we directly scraped a beautiful soup element from there, right? But while scraping YouTube, we can't do that. So what we will do is we will tell YouTube to give me all the data, and then I would parse the data. And, the beautiful soup would not parse me the data. I would have to parse the data to get the required results. Quickly check, yeah. So am I audible? Can anyone confirm me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So there was a connectivity issue, but it's resolved now. So yeah, we can just uh, yeah. So we wanted to just what I told you is, while working with Python, you should have every time you should make a virtual environment for you. So what we would be doing here is, let's see, right? So what I'm gonna do is, uh, I'm gonna first activate this virtual environment. So what is the activation thing for virtual environment is, I would go in VNV. Then I'll go scripts, and then I'll tell it to activate. So it goes into VNV, it goes into scripts, and then it activates the virtual environment. So as soon as I press enter here, you can see a VNV with green color is written here, right? VNV with green color is written in the left here, right? So it tells me that the VNV is activated. So now whatever I would be doing here would be, would be separated from my local PC, and it would be happening inside a virtual environment. And I can access everything inside the virtual environment as well as in my PC, but things in my PC can't access inside the virtual environment. That's the difference. So first, let us make a file for our scripting, right? So as I told you that we would be working with Python, so I would make a .py file here. Okay, so yeah. So the file would be outside the virtual environment. Virtual environment is in this folder. So everything happening in this folder would be inside the virtual environment. You should not make the file inside this folder, that virtual environment folder. You should make the file outside this, just outside the world. So we are scraping here. So just I would try to scrape dot py. This would be my file here, scrape dot py. So when we were working with Collab, what we started with was, you know, uh, importing the libraries. So I will do is import so what I did was import requests, right? And I imported beautiful soup. So how I imported was from PS4 import beautiful soup, right? I save this file, and if I try to run this Python, Python file is run from the terminal. You can either run it from the code runner, but I prefer it to run from here terminal. So what I do is I write Python, and then I says scrape dot py. That is file name, right? And I enter. So the file is running, right? It is trying to import these libraries. But if you see that it gave me an error, that's what I wanted to show you. It gave me that no module named request was here. This request might be inside my local PC installed because I've used it many times, right? But it's not in this virtual environment. And that's what makes virtual environment so useful for us, because it separates us from our local PC. But while working with Collab, you saw that I didn't need to install these libraries because they were already installed in uh, Collab. So what I need to do is I need to pick, that is Python installer. I need to tell it to pick install requests, right? Requests. So it's installing the request library from Python, and it's bringing it to the virtual environment here. Then I need to import BS4 also, right? Then we can start with the scraping part of YouTube. So it's just installing here. Yeah, so it's written. Don't go with the warning. It's just about the version of the pip. We want this, right? Successfully installed. It will give me certificate number, charge set normalizer, request, and two libraries it has installed, requests and urlib. Why urlib 3? Because urlib 3 is used inside request. So we don't want to look into it. We just what we wanted, that is request. It's important. Now I need to import its BS4. now it's collecting BS4, and out of this whole BS4 library, what I am using is beautiful soup class. There are many other classes in this, but beautiful soup is particularly used for web scraping. That's why we are using that. So while it's installing, I'll just see if everything's good in chat. Any doubts you can post in the chat, I'll answer them. So yeah, it's successfully installed beautiful soup for BS4 and soup C, everything is installed, right? So now if I run the file, initially it gave me an error, right? Now if I run the file, yeah, you can see that no error because both were installed. Now you can see that these are a bit, low highlighted than VS Code. Why? Because these are not used right now. We are not using them. That's why. So in VS Code, you can see if something is dull or it's very low highlighted, then it shows us that it is not used in the your code block, right? So now what I need is I would need something from YouTube. So yeah, I'll show you first the structure of the YouTube that I wanted to show you before. Uh, Now I need to share this with you. So just stopping the presentation, I want to show you the structure of YouTube right now. So yeah, this is our YouTube, right? I've searched for best DSA courses in YouTube, and I got these, right? I got some videos, I got some playlists. So whenever you come to YouTube, what you do is whenever you come to YouTube, what you do is you search for something, and then you have to look for that data in these videos, right? So what we would be doing is we would be scraping these search results. We would be scraping their video links. We would be scraping their titles. How old are they, and what is their video length? That's what we would be doing, and then we will make an API, to show this data. So first I showed you that one user format is showing that data in the dictionary, and then we would be showing that data in the form of a API, right? So I need this link, right? This link. So I need this link, and then what I need is another thing. What I need is I want to show you the inspect element of this, and then we would be good to go. We will not return even to the YouTube, I guess. Because I told you that as soon as I get the data from the YouTube, we don't need YouTube for that. What we need was we need to parse the data, and that we have to do it on ourselves because Beautiful Soup wouldn't be able to help us because the data that we would be getting from YouTube is a lot different from what we were getting from in short thing, right? So yeah, I'm just looking in YouTube, and I just want that these videos have same type of structure. That's what I told you in the beginning, that whenever scraping you need to see the structure. If you can see the structure, if you can just find a pattern in the structure, then you can make a generalized script to access each and everything. So I need to particularly access this, so I would click on the element and I would say inspect. So now it's showing me this image, but I need not only image or this, I need everything that is here. Yeah. So yeah, it's here. Div ID is dismissible and class is style scope YTD video renderer. Right? Video render. So we look at the thing video renderer, right? That's what here is, and ID is dismissible and it's in the div. And so these divs would be many of these divs would be there, right? If I just press press a find thing, and if I just write a simple XPath, XPath is where this particular thing is in the whole thing, right? So it was a div whose guidance. So yeah, here it was a div with a ID contents and class this, right? So I would write a div with @class equals to. So this is just Google Developer Tools. What I'm doing is I'm just writing a simple XPath to show you that how it is placed inside it. And I would just close this. It's showing me like this 20 of these are there in the search result. Like if I get second, you know, if I get third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So you can see that it's it's showing me where all these are, right? These item section renderer here, here, here. What I wanted was YTD video renderer in this content, right? So I can say find a YTD video renderer with class scope YTD item section renderer. Okay, so I would remove this div. What I'll say is YTD dash video renderer, right? So now it's showing me 18, and you can see that when I told it to access first, then whole card. I wanted this card and this is it. I wanted another card and this is it. I wanted another card. This is it. I wanted another card. And all the data in this is in this card. So this is known as a XPath. What XPath is? XPath is the relative path of that particular element in the whole HTML, right? So if I just show you that there are 22 whole YTD video renderer, and it's increasing as I go down, because that's what YouTube does is, right? You go down and it keeps loading more and more. So what I want to tell you here is that this is a journal card, right? It's not a specific card for every video, because I wrote the XPath for a single card, and it's showing me that there are 20 or 30 or more cards like this. So these cards have a journal symmetry in them, or they are of same structure, and that's what we use while web scraping, right? So uh, now I'll come to the code block. So here we are. So what we want was say that let's make a response name variable, and what I want is requests dot get. That's what we did, right? We are putting a get request on it, and what I wanted was I copied the. Okay, so I'll just go and copy the URL of that. Here I am with the URL. This is the URL, right? What I wrote was HTML, right? So let's just go with HTML only. Make it more, you can relate it with the HTML is request.get this. So I want to get this URL, okay? And I am posing a get request on this URL. And what I'm doing is I am telling the request library to give me only the text out of it. So how I do this is dot by putting a dot text, right? So I will tell that only provide me with the text from what you are getting to the request library. So it will post a get request on YouTube, this particular URL, and then it will give me the text. And now what I want is again a soup object, and it is of class beautiful soup, right? So beautiful soup, and then I want to provide it with right what first the string that we want to process, so that's HTML. There I wrote dot text here. Now I wrote dot text here, so it means same, right? I can remove it from here, and maybe for your I can go with here only HTML dot text, and then what I can say is parse. So there I parsed using HTML parser, right? Now I would be using to parse with LXML. What is LXML? LXML is kind of a library of Python and a uh, tree parsing. What I would tree parsing, tree builder, right? I showed you the argument was tree builder for the second thing. So it's a tree builder for beautiful soup, and it's also a library in Python. And I'll just import that or install that. It install LXML. So why I am importing LXML here and there I used HTML parser. So while using HTML contents that the site was giving me, I would have easily parsed the data that HTML parser that build a tree for me. I can parse the data, but when I get the data from YouTube, it's I told you that there was a difference between YouTube and InShot, and that was that YouTube InShot was kind of you know uh, static website, right? It has very low scripts like on click and all that elements, but YouTube maintains a session of you, right? It means maintains a session, your history and everything that so it includes a lot of script, JavaScript in it. So to pass through that and include HTML, XML is a very prominent library in Python and also in beautiful soup tree builder that helps to build the tree for us. You would have used LXML also there also, but it was very HTML kind raw HTML kind of data, so I used HTML. But here I get a lot of script in this script, that is JavaScript, right? So to parse that I use LXML, right? Now, if I want to show you that what I'm getting in this shoe.prettyfile, I wouldn't be showing you it here in the terminal. Why? Because I already told you that there was a lot of data. So what I can do is just maybe with open, I would open a file, right? I will open a file, maybe let's say data.txt, right? And then what I can do is I can say that open this file, right? So if it's already there, then it will update the data, and if it's not there, it will make a new file, right? That we know what the open function. And then I would write that I have to write in this file. So I would specify W. If I only want to read, then I would specify R, right? And I have to provide it with encoding. So what encoding I would be providing it with a journal encoding, which is UTF-8, right? So UTF-8, I will be providing it with UTF-8. That is the most journal encoding in JavaScript also, and here while opening with Python and C++, you will see a lot of UTF-8, right? So what I did here is I just wrote with open, like open data.txt, write, it should be in write format, then encoding should be UTF-8, And I have told it, to this is a process, right? So I have wrote that this process should be named as output. Now I want to write in this, right? So output dot write, and then what I want to write is I want to write what we printed there was soup dot pt5, right? So I have to write that. Now I'll show you the what we were getting there and now what we are getting there. Why there's a lot of difference between short and YouTube. So I'll just create this and now I'll run this. Yeah, so data.txt has been made. Here you can see. Now let's see. Here it is, right? Now you can see that this type of element, object dot keys, this navigate prototype tags. Okay, I just a bit by mistake. So this type of thing, there are see script, everything is inside script, right? So due to this script thing, because YouTube is kind of a web app, and InShot was kind of a website, so there was a lot of difference there. So you can see that even after you can see how much data I have here, right? You can see. You at the left bar here, you can see that how much data I have got from the YouTube just with one request, right? You can see here. So it would not be easy for Beautiful Soup to parse this data around. So I have to go for this, right? So, but I can tell Beautiful Soup to find me the best, best where it can leave me. So I need a video renderer, right? I showed you that video renderer was something that I wanted, because there I can, from there I can get my cards, or I can just specify what I want from the data. So what I will do is I'll just control F and I'll write video renderer, right? Renderer. So it's showing me this here video, and you see here top 5 DSA courses, 100% free DSA placement practice. All this I'm getting videos, like that's what I wanted basically. This 8 minute 59 second, everything I'm getting here. So yeah, so I want this video renderer, right? But what is, I cannot directly tell Beautiful Soup to find me this video renderer because it's not a tag, and Beautiful Soup works on tags, right? So I can go for the first tag I am getting, I can go inside that. So if you see, if you go only, like, see, there's a lot of data, lots and lots of data that YouTube, just one get request and YouTube gave me a lots of data, but I have to parse through it, right? That's where scraping is needed to parse this data and get what we need. So like, I'm just going up and up and up. So much data and not a single tag. Why? Because all these are made in JavaScript and then rendered in HTML. So HTML would be so yeah, here I have this script, right? If I show you this script, this is what I want. This is script, right? So if I copy this and I paste it in file, so it's showing me that there are 34, 39, but I want just this script, right? Right? So here, this is script. It is at 34, right? And I want this all data. So it's at 34th script, right? So what I will say is, now I'll just comment this out. So to comment multiple lines in VS Code, you can just press Control and \mark, and it will comment everything. So now I want those script data, right? So I can write script. I can write a variable script data, which would be equals to soup. I'll tell soup dot find all, right? Find all, find all, and I want to find script, right? But I don't want every script. I wanted only that script, right? That was on there. So I would write. It was on, I guess, 34, and YouTube. Python's indexing starts from 0. So I can write 33 here. So it will give me the 34th element, right? Because 0 to 33 are 34, right? Because it's starting with 0, and when we were using this find in that data.txt file, then it's considering the first script as 1, second script as second. But when we are telling soup or Python to find, it would consider the first script as 0. So if it was on 34, then I need 33rd, right? 33rd element. And then what I can say is, now let me just print this now. Okay, out of all data, let me just print this script data. So I'm just using this again, and what I would be doing is, I would not be printing script or data. This I would be printing this script data dot text. Right? What I am getting, like script data dot text. The file, and I will run it. The data.txt. Yeah, so it has run, and now if I see data.txt, then you can see that still there's still there's a lot of data here, lots of data here. But if I go up, I can see that now it has not started from whole, HTML docs and doc type HTML and all the script. Now I am getting somewhat close to what I wanted, right? Video renderer and that I'm getting close to. You can see that this whole data is not needed for me, right? All these things and URL endpoints and all that. What I need is those things, that I wanted, right? Those all cards that I wanted. I need those, right? So they are somewhere in this that I already told you that I have to find video renderer, and then I can get right to that. But that video renderer is not a tag. I will mention again. So I can't, tell Soup to find it for me. I have to find it by myself, right? So first, what I would be doing is I would be converting this in a form of a JSON. Form of a JSON, right? Because why I want to convert this in form of a JSON to access it easily. If you see that here a loop has started, from here a dictionary has started. I already told you that dictionary starts with a curly bracket, right? So what I need to do is I need to first eliminate this where YT initial data and some of little like semicolons and all that, because I told you that whenever we use dictionaries in Python, they are separated by they are separated by semicolons. Sorry, I mean commas, and it has key and value pair. So I would be using a G library, RE library from Python to do this task for me, and how I will do that. I'll show you. So I'm importing G, and you need not to worry about what I would write just now, because uh, all these you can to just eliminate this thing. I'm just first installing the RED, and so just to avoid these things, you can just Google search like how to uh, remove data from scripts of. So it's saying me that okay, so we already have been our virtual environments, so that's why there's no problem with it. So what I was talking about was that you can search on Google that how to remove unwanted data from script tags while scraping YouTube, and someone has already done that. That's what I did, right? So basically, I got an answer from Stack Overflow and I used it, but I'll explain you what's happening here. So I'll write HTML text, and that would be just equals to re dot search. I'll tell you what it all does is re dot search, and what I wanted to remove was here. I'll show you. Firstly, I wanted to remove where YT initial data is equals to. First, I want to remove all this. I'll just copy this and I would paste it here. So search for this, right? Then what I'm saying is I am also telling it to remove some of the unwanted, unusual data from this script tag. That would be dot plus, right? Or that might be unwanted commas and semicolons, or that might be uh, like now I need to group this. So what I'll do here is like one here. I'll just tell you everything that what's happening here. Then I have to feed it the data. So I'll write script underscore data dot text, right? So don't worry of what has happened in this line. Everything I'll tell you. So this is the code to remove unwanted data from this script, right? So what it does is, so G with RE, the library, it has a search function which would search for var variable YT initial data is equals to, then dot plus comma and semicolon, and this one. So this one is just replaced by group one, right? So what group one does it will group all these data. So it would remove if they come together or if they are coming singularly. That's what's happening from data.txt, right? It is happening. And then I can print this in my I can say script.txt. So I'll write HTML text here. Right. Now if I run this, okay. Okay, so it gave me an error that object has no attribute group, right? Why it gave me an error is because the grouping of the data, that is where initial data dot plus then colon I mean, comma colon and this one. So it's telling me that none type object has no data. Okay, I bet. It's saying that it didn't get any text from there, right? Because I might have changed. let me run this. Okay. It's compiling. I'm just figuring out the problem with the group is so I'm getting the data in script data.txt text, but it's just saying me that script data.text is runtime. So let me just a minute. I'll tell you the problem with this. Yeah. So now it has run, right? So what was the problem with the grouping of the data was I'll tell you. I just figured it out that where it was able to find where writing initial data, right? But when it went to dot plus and comma colon, so what happened was this comma and colons are generally in form of a list, right? And I have specified here it in form of you know uh, like uh, in circular brackets. So the problem here was that comma and semicolons here are present in form of you can see the whole thing. This whole thing from here starts with a list, right? And then I have told it to search for uh, circular brackets. So it was giving me none. So now if I write again that one here, and then if I write dot group one, then I think now it should work. I can just HTML data in the file. Yeah, now it should work. I just run it. has properly worked. And if you will see that now it has started from a dictionary. So it's like 116. So uh, let just give me either we can do this all thing right now in like next 15 minutes, or uh, then we can proceed tomorrow with building of REST API, or we can scraping part also we can do tomorrow because it's already 1:15. So can you please suggest me in chat what would be better, like doing all the scraping part right now, or it would be better for you to process it tomorrow? I have no problem. I can show you scraping today also, and tomorrow it would be more about building the REST API. But okay, sure, Shubham Gaikwad. Okay, we can do it tomorrow. Yeah, and right now for tomorrow's session, you can post doubt here if you have any doubts in the YouTube also and in the Meet also. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So tomorrow we will do like we right now we already have this data in form of a dictionary, right? Now we have keys. We have to just get the values, right? I told you it's like a dictionary where you have keys and you have values for that. So now we have key and value pair. Tomorrow what we'll do is we'll pass through this data. We will get all the values that we want, okay, and then we would show it in form of a API. So I guess no one is asking for any doubt. So yeah, good to go. Okay, then we can continue this tomorrow. From here, this JSON type or dictionary type of data, we would parse all the data that we want, and then we can build the REST API. So yeah, thank you all for.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and interactive session. I would also like to thank the faculty in charge and everyone present for today's event. Hope the same enthusiasm will be among us for the tomorrow events also. We will meet you tomorrow at the same time. I request everyone present to please switch on your cameras to click a memorable screenshot for the day. Thank you so much. You may start leaving the meet. Have a great day. Take care.